I know what you did. You're a damn pedigree. All right, just get the hell out.
Hello once again, it's Peter Bradshaw here from The Guardian. Welcome back to the long, hot lockdown summer of 2021, and we're starting with the exuberant movie musical In the Heights, directed by John Chu and based on the Broadway smash by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lights up on Washington Heights, up at the break of day. I wake up and I got this little punk I gotta chase away. Pop the grate at the crack of dawn, sing while I wipe down the awning. Hey y'all, good morning.
Ice cold piragua, palcha, china, cherry, strawberry, and just for today I got my mate.
Oye, Piragüero, ¿cómo está?
Como siempre, señor Usnavi. Ice cold piragua.
There's more than 2 solid hours of dancing in the streets in this likeable, if somehow earnest movie about a vibrant Dominican Latino community in Manhattan's Washington Heights, which for me, in a pleasant way, felt like a feature-length version of the scene in Fame where the kids start dancing and singing around the taxi outside the High School of Performing Arts. Now, it has to be said, many people absolutely adore this film, and fair play to them. I've got to admit personally that I didn't quite get to the swooning stage because I think I found it some of the time a somewhat gritless oyster. There are some issues of generational, ethnic and sexual division here, but these seem to be solved, or at any rate passed over, so quickly, and the keynote of collective exuberance so easily re-established that there was almost something childlike about it, although I should say again, this is part of what is so charming about the film. You might want to compare In the Heights to West Side Story, soon to be revived by Steven Spielberg, but this is a drama of all jets and no sharks, or all sharks and no jets. Now, of course, the film does not have to showcase divisive issues in this way for the chin-stroking approval of liberal journalists and critics. I get it. But in dramatic terms, I did find it a bit frictionless. That said, there are some wonderful set pieces, especially a colossal group dance in an open-air swimming pool, and I love colossal group dances in open-air swimming pools. Anthony Ramos is very good in the lead, which Miranda originally had for himself on stage, and it's great to see in supporting roles Stephanie Beatriz from TV's Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Dasha Polanco from Orange is the New Black. From In the Heights to In the Earth, the new trippy horror freakout from Ben Wheatley.
What do you want?
Everything seems to just keep us here.
Last we heard of Ben Wheatley, he had ventured outside his comfort zone and that of his fan base by doing a big conventional period romantic drama for Netflix starring Lily James and Armie Hammer, namely a new version of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, which was a bit pointless, although it did give us something approximating the traditional Ben Wheatley collective narcosis euphoria moment for the party scene in which the heroine is tricked into wearing Rebecca's gown. In the Earth is a return to classic Wheatley, a woodland folk horror whose third act will consist effectively in an abandonment of narrative structure in favour of a colossal drug-induced freakout. Now, it is arguably slightly familiar stuff, I admit, and this is another horror film where we have to be told, early doors, that there is no signal for mobile phones. But I do have to say that with Wheatley, I always enjoy the sheer strangeness and malice in the air, along with the unwholesome tang of shrooms.
Wake up. Something's there. Listen. Someone's watching us.
The scene is a post-pandemic Britain, traumatised by the mass infection and alienated from Mother Nature herself, and Joel Fry is quietly excellent as Martin, an earth scientist who is journeying into a dense and inaccessible English woodland because he understands that it contains supremely rich and fertile soil, which we badly need for food production. He has with him a guide, Alma, played by Elora Torcia, who is also very good. Together they play the material dead straight, while also letting you sense the bat squeak of black comedy, especially when they chance across a strange hermit in this wood, played by Reece Shearsmith. What I love about Wheatley's trippy films, and this one incidentally reminds me very much of his barking mad 17th century level of freak-out A Field in England, set in Cromwellian times, is their celebration of irrationality. That tends to be the final point, insofar as there is a point. We are not leading logically to any sort of narrative revelation. It is all going to be topped off with a gigantic tide of hallucinatory weirdness, like the last crashing chord in the Beatles' A Day in the Life. In the Earth is in cinemas now. Finally, I want to talk about The Reason I Jump, a new documentary about autistic and neurodiverse young people.
Inside my head, there isn't really such a big difference between what I was told just now and what I heard a long time ago. My mind is forever swaying this way and that.
I've tried to stop her from being herself.
I think we can change the conversation around autism by being part of the conversation.
The Reason I Jump is based on the sensational and mould-breaking book first published in 2007 by a 13-year-old non-speaking autistic boy from Japan, Naoki Higashida, using the alphabet grid prompt system and transcribed by his mother. It was translated into English in 2013 by Keiko Yoshida and her husband, the English novelist David Mitchell. Like the book, this film sets out to bring us inside the autistic person's world, to see how they can become overwhelmed by sensory perception and by thoughts and memories which they have difficulties structuring and contextualizing, but also that they are capable of artistry and rapture in ways that other people aren't. Now, the thing I think needs to be said is that if you look up Naoki Higashida on Wikipedia, the entry claims that his book is suspect or even a phony because he is allegedly not capable of dictating anything via the alphabet grid, and that his mother has effectively written it herself, creating what amounts to a mawkish YA novel about what she imagines her son is feeling. Now, this film refutes that very effectively, showing that speech is a fine motor skill beyond many autistic people, but simply pointing at letters on a grid is a gross motor activity which autistic people can do. This simple method releases them from their locked-in state. It is one of many great leaps forward in our understanding of autism, which I think this excellent film has made possible. I want to conclude by reading an email from a subscriber, I Know Corrida, I Married Him, who says, Dear Pete, is it a strain bringing on-stream premium quality vlog content week after week?
Thank you for asking.
No, not really, I Know Corrida, I Married Him, because I have my fabulous producer Gareth Roy, and also I should now once again, in accordance with time-honoured tradition, mention my book, published by Bloomsbury, The Films That Made Me, an edited selection of my essays and reviews for The Guardian. Please also give these vlogs a like and a share on social media, and subscribe, and leave a comment to say that you've subscribed, and tell me what your favourite film is. Until next time.